What's up everyone? My name's Joe. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you find the information in this video to be helpful and beneficial. So I've been doing some reflecting on my first 2 years of medical school and how there were some things during those first 2 years that I feel like I really could have done differently. I made a lot of mistakes when I was first starting out, and I figured might as well share them with you guys. That way, once you start medical school, you can avoid making the same mistakes that I did. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys 4 things that I wish I had done differently back when I was first starting out in medical school. The first thing that I wish I had really done differently when starting out was utilizing my visual memory more often. While for some people, utilizing their visual memory isn't necessarily that helpful, to me, I found it to be very beneficial in memorizing difficult material and making different associations. In medical school, you will be responsible for knowing a lot of information, and it can be very easy to get things mixed up at times. And so, I find that creating visual associations for different words and phrases can be extremely beneficial when there's so much that you have to remember. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do this for all of the information that you learn in medical school, just because it'll take up too much time, but I would highly recommend it for information that your professors may point out in class and say that this information right here is important to know. A program called Sketchy Medical does a great job of doing this. I found their microbiology and pharmacology videos to be extremely helpful with memorizing a lot of the minute information that you have to know. And I honestly wish I'd used both of those programs earlier on in medical school. It would have made it so much easier to remember things long term. Another way that you can utilize your visual memory is by highlighting and color coordinating your notes. By utilizing different colors to highlight, you can make associations between different topics. So that way when you're looking at the paper and you see a certain color, you will already know that that color is associated with a certain piece of information. So now, on to the second mistake. When I was first starting out, I would pretty much take notes on whatever I thought was important that the professor was saying. And after the days kept going by and I saw that the Word document kept getting longer and longer, I quickly found out that it was way too much. And I was honestly wasting a lot of my time by taking so many notes. I personally found it so much easier to download the PowerPoints, highlight the information that was important in the PowerPoints, and then after studying that information and remembering everything I could and getting as much information as I could into my head, I would then go over to a Word document or organize on paper all of the information that I couldn't remember from the first pass of going through the PowerPoints. This saved me so much time, and I was able to spend less time writing and more time learning. And now, let's move on to mistake number 3. Have you ever heard the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Well, this is honestly one mistake that took me a while to correct. A lot of students coming into medical school think that they need to change up their note-taking from what they did back when they were in undergrad. But the reality of the situation is, the habits that you formed back in college are what pretty much got you to this point. And those same habits will more than likely work just fine in medical school as well. Back when I was a junior in college, that's when professors started putting their PowerPoints up online for people to download. And so I would go and download the PowerPoints, study the information directly from there and highlight information that I thought was important. And that's what worked for me back when I was an undergrad. And then when I got to medical school, I had some older students tell me that that would no longer work and that there was too much information for me to study directly from the slides and that I needed to organize my information more. There were so many different methods that I tried, from doing Anki cards to making Word document summaries, but ultimately I found that I did best on exams when I went back to my original methods that I had done in college of downloading the PowerPoints, highlighting the information, and just doing what I had done before I even started medical school. So again, remember this phrase when you start. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because at the end of the day, you know what works best for you. So take suggestions on changing your study habits with a grain of salt. Even with the information in this video, be open to trying new study methods. But if it doesn't work out, don't be afraid to go back to what got you here in the first place. Now it's time for our last mistake. Mistake number 4. And this is something that I found to be extremely helpful before exams. One thing that I wish I had done earlier on was finding somebody or a group of people that I could have quiz sessions with. Different people are going to have different aspects of the information that they think are important. And so, by quizzing with other people, you can help fill in those gaps of information or highlight something that you didn't necessarily think was going to be important, but could very easily show up on the exam. So, if you can find a friend or a group of friends that you can quiz with, maybe starting 2 to 3 days before the exam, it would be an absolute benefit and could very easily raise your score an extra 2 to 3%. And so, those are 4 things that I wish I had done differently back when I was going through my first 2 years of medical school. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. It really helps me out and will benefit the channel. Also, if you liked the information in this video and would like to hear more, please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have any other questions about medical school or just life in general, you can leave them in the comment box down below, and I would be happy to make a video on whatever question you have. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.